And joining me now is political analyst Michael Gagan. Michael, thank you for being here. Labor Minister Seamus O'Regan resigning from cabinet. Your reaction to this?
Well, I mean, it's not entirely surprising. I mean, when you're part of a government that's 20 points behind the opposition party, and in terms of seat distribution, you're looking at potentially coming in fourth. It's a time where you start reconsidering what your future is going to be. And so, I think it's completely legitimate that he went. You know what? I'm not interested in going into like an electoral wood chipper here. Maybe it is time for me to focus on family and friends and whatnot. So not entirely surprising, and there's certainly a lot of Liberals that are deciding not to run again.
How does this look for the party?
Well, it looks like exactly what it is, that this is a political party, that a government that has lost the confidence and support of the vast majority of Canadians, and barring some kind of miracle, they are headed for defeat. In fact, if polls were to hold steady on election day, a year and a bit from now, the Conservatives would not only win a majority, they'd win a supermajority. So it's definitely a thing where fighting a campaign is a difficult thing, but if you're facing the anger and hatred of the majority of people whose doors you're knocking on, that's a pretty tough pill to swallow. So if you already have your enough years in that you've got your pension, and you can look back on having served 3 terms like Seamus O'Regan did, you know what? It's probably a lot easier on the heart, both emotionally and physically, to step out now.
Well, there's talk of a cabinet shuffle. What do you see happening here?
Well, I think they're going to try and do a major shakeup. I mean, the problem is that you've had so many different Liberal cabinet ministers that have made themselves tremendously unpopular. But they've all been made unpopular for the same reason, which is not putting the interests and needs of Canadians first, and instead like, hey, we're willing to sacrifice your standard of living to meet some goals that we set, flying in our private jets to meet with billionaires in Davos. And that's going over like a lead balloon with Canadians. I mean, there's been a tremendous plummet in the average Canadian's living standards. Canadians are extremely angry. They feel they have a government that doesn't put their interests first. And then on top of all this, you have this situation where there's 11 MPs that have been colluding with foreign governments. So every MP that doesn't run again is like, oh, were they one of the 11? And people speculate. And it's just one of these things where people have had enough. And so it's a very, very difficult time. I mean, you've had a situation where another cabinet minister had their office, trashed by some pro-Hamas protesters. So it's, not a fun time to be a Liberal politician.
There's also talk of Mark Carney joining the party, the former Bank of Canada governor, possibly as the Minister of Finance. How would he be brought in if that's the case?
Well, I mean, when you're in terms of cabinet appointments, the prime minister and through the governor general can appoint whoever they want to cabinet. You do not have to be a sitting official, and we certainly have had in the history of Canada, at the provincial and federal level, you've had senators that have been appointed. You've had individuals that were then appointed and then subsequently ran in a by-election. So I imagine that's the route they'd go. They appoint him as Minister of Finance and then run him in a by-election or even wait till the general election. The problem is that at a time when Ottawa is perceived as paying more attention to globalist narratives than domestic narratives, bringing in a globalist banker is not exactly going to run contrary to that concern. So I think it would be a very brave decision by Mr. Carney if he decided to abandon his rather lucrative career to sort of basically become the new captain, or at least the deputy captain of what is, politically a Titanic.
All right, that is our time. We will have to leave it there. Thank you very much, Michael. Michael Gagan, political analyst.